Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for coming back. I really appreciate it, more than you know. I asked you guys if you wanted to see a makeup tutorial or a story time, and surprisingly you guys really wanted to hear story time. Oh my god, I have an abundance of stories I could tell you guys, so if you end up liking this video and you want me to do more story time videos, just let me know, and I sure as hell can do that for you. I have plenty of stories that I can tell. And for those of you who voted for a makeup tutorial, I'm going to be filming a makeup tutorial tomorrow, so that should be up after the story time. So I'm gonna make all of you happy, because I mean, I'm a beauty channel, makeup's kind of my thing, but today is about the story time. You know, I thought about it for a while and I was like, well, what story out of all of the things that have happened in my life, what story could I start with? So I'm going to tell you guys about time that I auditioned for The Voice. It was the summer of 2014. I had just graduated high school, like the last few months of my senior year. That was all I could talk about because I was going to be auditioning for The Voice in New York City. For those of you who don't know, singing competitions like that, and a lot of competitions that are on TV in general and stuff like that, you don't just audition once and you're on the show. That's not, like, the auditions that you guys see on TV isn't, like, the one and only time that people audition, if that makes sense. You have to go through, like, multiple rounds of auditions before you even get on TV. So pretty much what happened was I was really good friends at the time with someone who had already auditioned for The Voice. He didn't make it to the blind auditions, but his manager at the time knew all the contact information from when he auditioned for The Voice. So he reached out to me and told me, hey, if you want to audition for The Voice, I'll totally help you. And I was like, yeah, dude, that is awesome. So I didn't have to do it by myself because I had no idea where to start. It all depends on the person. With The Voice, you could either do like video submissions for your audition, or you could go to like the pop-up places that they had like around the country and audition there in front of people. So we decided to do the video submissions. It was kind of just the easiest thing for us at the time. So I gave him a couple videos of me singing with my band so that he could give those to the people. He emailed those videos to the Voice producers. You know, I really didn't think I was gonna get very far. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get, you know, past the first audition, and if I make it past that, that'll be a miracle. So I made it through the first audition, so then we submitted another video to the second part of the audition. So we submitted the video, and I made it through again. I had no idea how, but I made it through again. And eventually, we just kind of kept submitting video submissions. I made it to the audition before the blind auditions, if that makes sense. So the auditions that you guys see on TV, the blind auditions, where all the judges are kind of like, you know, turned around and you sing and then they turn around if they like you kind of deal. I was in the audition before that one. I was auditioning in front of the show producers. And for that, I had to travel to New York City, and I didn't really mind that because even though New York City is pretty far from where I live, it's like 6 hours, it's like a 6-hour drive, I had been to New York City before, so that aspect of it really didn't scare me. I brought my dad, my mom, my little sister Miranda, and Jared. I had to prepare 3 songs, not to sing for the show producers. I ended up picking like Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars, Paris Ooh La La by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, and I picked Alone by Heart. So there was like 5 of us, and we were all scrunched in this little tiny car driving 6 hours to New York City. So we drove to New Jersey, and let me tell you, finding parking there was absolutely impossible. But we ended up, by the grace of God, finding a place to park, and we got on the ferry, like from New Jersey to New York City. We crossed over into the city. The ferry trip made Jared a little bit seasick. He was not having that. He was not a fan. My audition was at like 5 o'clock at night, but I wanted to get there early because they had said, like, get there early because we have a place where you can warm up your voice and everything like that, and, you know, the earlier you get there, the better. So I wanted to get there like a couple hours early just to be safe. So we were walking around the city. We thought that the place of the audition was a lot closer to the like ferry drop-off than it actually was. So we walked for miles in the city, and it was so hot. Oh my god, it was in June, and it was ridiculously hot. And so eventually I just kind of got flustered, and I was like, look, I can't walk anymore, I want to get a taxi. We got a taxi, I don't know how, but it was this tiny little car, and there was 5 of us, and we all couldn't fit in the taxi. So I got in the front seat, Miranda, my mom, and Jared got in the back seat. And my dad literally got in the trunk of this taxi. I swear to God. It was like a hatchback, so I guess it wasn't like a trunk. But he lifted the door, and he like just climbed in and just kind of like, you know, crouched down so that nobody could really see him, so that the taxi driver didn't get pulled over. And the taxi driver literally looked at me and was just like, is he in the trunk? And I'm just like, yeah. And he's like, okay. You know? So he very kindly drove us to the location of the voice audition. And to be honest, that whole time, you know how, I don't know if you guys are the same way, but this whole time I was just like, this is way too good to be true. What if this whole thing was just a scam, and I show up and it's just somebody waiting to rob me or mug me? In the back of my mind this entire time, I was kind of just skeptical. I was just like, there's no way that I was good enough to make it this far, and this whole thing, knowing my luck, is probably a scam. And they probably gave me, you know, an address to like an alleyway, and they're just waiting to mug me and my entire family, and this whole thing just is way too good to be true. But we get there, and it's like legit. It was really nice. It was a really nice building. The whole thing was like so restricted and secretive that they told us that I could only bring one other person inside with me, and I had my entire family, you know. My mom and my dad and my sister let Jared and I go in because Jared had to come with me. He was playing one of the songs that I was going to be singing on guitar with me, so he had to be there. And so I walk in, and it was just this giant place. Oh my god, I'll never forget it. It was giant, there was lights everywhere, and there was this guy standing at a desk, and he asked for my name, and this was like the moment of truth for me. I'm like, I better not have driven 6 hours here and walked miles in the blistering heat for, you know, and have my name not be on the list, and this was all just a scam, you know? So I gave him my name, and thank Jesus Christ I was on there, and he gave me a little number to put on my shirt. He led us to this giant room where everybody else who was auditioning that day was, and everybody was just kind of sitting there in chairs and kind of like singing, you know, and kind of getting ready for their audition. And there were people sitting at tables like in front of everyone, and I remember specifically there was this like 15-year-old kid while Jared and I were sitting there, just this giant smile on his face, and he had made it to the blind auditions, and he was like signing all of the legal paperwork, and his dad was with him because he was like 15 and he wasn't able to do all of it on his own. And I just remember feeling so intimidated because I just sat there and like watched someone who actually like made it, like doing all of that stuff, and I saw how excited he was, and it just made me even more nervous. I was terrified. Keep in mind, my audition wasn't until like 5 p.m. and at that point it was like 3 p.m. Okay? So Jared and I are sitting there. We had just gotten there, and Jared was trying to like tune his guitar and stuff to get ready, and I'm like shaking because I'm so nervous. I saw the amount of people that were in that building with me, and it just became really real, and I was terrified. We were probably sitting in that giant room for probably like, I want to say 10 minutes, maybe, and I hadn't had a chance to warm up my voice yet because I had been driving and walking, and I had to change in like a subway bathroom for my audition, and I was just so flustered, and all of a sudden they call my name, and I'm like, I'm here. And they were like, okay, your audition's gonna happen now, and I'm like, what? You know, I was not ready. I was not prepared whatsoever. You know, that's just the way, it's just the way it is sometimes, you know, you kind of gotta be ready with the punches that they throw at you, you know, you gotta roll with the punches. So I got up, and the whole time I'm shaking like this. And Jared's terrified because he hadn't even really gotten a chance to like tune his guitar properly, so he's like freaking out like, oh my god, I'm gonna be out of tune this whole time and mess you up and mess everything up. And I walk into this little room, and there were 3 producers sitting at the table in front of me. And there was a camera, like, next to them, or behind them, that was, like, you know, aiming at me. And then there was another camera that was closer to me, like, really close, like, in front of my face. There was, like, this little platform that they wanted me to stand on, and there was a little X, like, taped onto the floor. They were like, okay, stand on that X, don't move from that X, because we need to get you on camera, we need to get, you know, we have to film you and you have to stay still. And I was like, okay, so any form of stage presence or movement is totally thrown out the window at this point, you know, because I have to stand here, like, and sing for you, you know. So then it moved very, very, very quickly, and I kind of figured that it would because they had to get through so many people, and that's probably why. My audition was scheduled at 5, and then it was pushed up to 3, probably because they were trying to get through people as fast as they possibly could. They were like, okay, state your name, your age, and where you're from. So I was just like, I'm Sierra Carey, I'm 18, and I'm from Maine. You know, like a robot, like terrified, you know. I think they could see the fear all over my face. The reason why I brought Jared was because, if you guys don't know, I'm terrified. I haven't sang by myself since I was like 13, you know. And so I brought Jared with me to play these, you know, a couple songs with me because he gave me a little bit of comfort knowing that I wasn't doing it alone. So he was standing next to me, like right here, like pretty close to me. And the producers were like, okay, you with the guitar, move this way. And so Jared, like, scooched, you know, he moved a little bit, and they're like, more. And so he moved a little bit more, and then they were like, no, honey, we don't want you in the shot. You need to get out of the shot. So he literally was on the other side of the room. Like, I wasn't anywhere near him. They were just like, okay, go ahead and play your first song. And the first song that we played was Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. And I sang through the entire song. They let me sing through all of it. And they all looked so happy. Like, they were just like, yeah, like, they were really into it. Like, yeah, dude, this is awesome. And I had read before I showed up that they want you to prepare 3 songs, but you're probably not going to sing all 3 of them. Most of the time, they'll maybe let you sing 1 song and maybe like a little bit of your second song, but chances are you're not going to sing all 3. So I got through the first song, and they were just like, okay, are you ready to sing the next song? And I was just like, okay, sure. And that one, Jared wasn't playing with me. I brought like karaoke music on like a thumb drive or a CD to give to them. Paris Ooh La La started playing, and I sang that. They let me sing that whole thing too. Like, they had me sing the entire song, and I wasn't my best. I'll tell you that right now, because I was so scared. I was so surprised that they had me even sing the second song. They had me sing the second song, so that kind of gave me a little bit of hope, like, ooh, maybe I have a chance at this, you know? And they, you know, they're still all smiles, and they're like, yeah, you're so good. You know, I'm done with that, and they just kind of look at me, and they're just like, you did a really good job, sweetie, but just not this year. Come again next year. And you know, and to be honest, it happened so fast, and the adrenaline was kind of like so intense that I was just like, okay, yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much for taking your time. It didn't hit me yet that they said that I didn't make it, you know? So, you know, we walked out. You know, it happened so fast. I was in that building for maybe a total of 20 minutes max, you know? Like, that's it. Maybe a half hour. We walked out of the building, and Jared and I walked in silence for like 10 minutes. Neither of us said anything. And then all of a sudden, I just started bawling, because then it just sank in that I didn't make it, and I was so disappointed. And I was so frustrated with myself because I knew I could do so much better than that. I was just amazed that I had made it that far, you know, especially since I didn't physically sing in front of anybody until that point. Like, I had just done video submissions up until that point, so I really didn't audition in front of anyone like that had to do with the show until I auditioned for the show's producers in New York City. I was just not prepared for it. That's the biggest thing I can say. If I tried again, if I auditioned again, I would be a lot more prepared for it, but it would probably still scare the shit out of me. But I just didn't know what to expect. It was so fast-paced. It was so like, let's get this done, let's get this done. And you know what? That's just the way it is. You know, that's showbiz, you know. Just the fact that I made it that far, that I got to go to New York City and audition for The Voice you know, The Voice. Like, I made it to the audition before the blind auditions. Like, that alone is a huge accomplishment, and I'm super proud of myself for that. I might give it another try. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Should I try to audition again? It would be a lot of fun. I kind of have an idea of, you know, what it's like now, so I probably wouldn't be as nervous. At least I would have a better idea of how the audition is gonna go. Thinking back on it, I was 18 when I did that, and I have improved so much since then, so maybe I have a better shot at actually making it this time. And if I do audition again, I'm definitely gonna make sure I warm up my voice before I try to sing Grace Potter. So, but yeah, so that was my story of how I auditioned for The Voice. I made it pretty far. I almost made it to the blind auditions. I was almost on TV, you know, I was almost there. It was really fun. It was an awesome experience, even though it was really scary and it was so out of my comfort zone and I didn't know what to expect. It was really cool. It was rewarding. So that was my story. Hope you guys liked it. If you like these story time videos, just let me know in the comments below. I would love to film more. I have, like I said, so many stories that I could tell you that range from funny to scary. My life has just been a emotional roller coaster up until this point. So yeah, just let me know what you guys thought of the video in the comments down below. Make sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you turn that little bell button down by the subscribe button on so that you're notified every time that I upload, because YouTube doesn't like to tell you unless you hit that little bell button. Stay tuned for the makeup tutorial that's coming very, very, very soon. Thank you guys again. Bye guys! This is my first attempt at making a homemade iced coffee because I spend way too much money at Dunkin' Donuts, and I figure I can do this at home. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. I know how to make a goddamn iced coffee. Dude, it's better than Dunkin'. Don't waste your money at Dunkin' Donuts. Make your own instead. It's better. Okay? I'm a former employee and I'm telling you that. Oh, oh my god, Dunkin' Donuts stories. If you guys want those, I got plenty of those. Do you guys like my Rick and Morty shirt? I'm sorry, I'm leaving now. Bye!